The rules of SEO are changing and most people don't even realize it. Google is still important and they're still the major player, but a lot of the AI LLMs like ChatGPT and Perplexity and Claude are starting to change the game overall. They haven't taken over yet, and they are taking some of the search volume out there. But what is fundamentally changing is how people search. In this video, we're going to look at the critical differences between regular SEO and SEO as it works for AI LLMs, basically. More specifically, we're going to look exactly at how to create content for these AI systems to make sure that you do get cited in there and that you get the best of both worlds, both for organic search through search engines as well as these AI systems. So let's start right at the beginning. Just exactly why this matters and how this should impact your content strategy as a whole. The traditional search engines like Google and Bing have dominated for the past 2-3 odd decades. But there's a shift in the way that people are searching. And this is being driven by AI systems. This includes ChatGPT, Claude, and Perplexity, but also AI overviews that you actually see in Google's search results. The reason this matters is the way that people are asking things have started to change. They're not just dropping a single keyword in there, they're actually changing to conversations. So what they enter is not just a single small isolated query. They want to understand, they want to learn, they want to get solutions to their problems. And the great news is you don't need to choose. You can actually have the best of both worlds. By optimizing your content correctly, you would actually have success in both platforms. I think it would be good if we just have a look at the difference between the two types of platforms. So first, starting with search in the traditional sense of the word. When you go and search on Google, you're interacting with a very sophisticated ranking system. Google goes and crawls websites, they find information, and they rank it based on multiple factors. There's been mentions of a list of about 200 different factors for years that determine how well you rank. At the core of it, however, has always been content and exactly what your content is all about. Signals are, however, far broader than this when it comes to search engines. They have a look at the content, which is critical, but they also have a look at other sites referencing your site. They have a look at internal links. They have a look at your domain strength. They have a look at the different pieces of structure and schema and everything that you have on the site. So there's a lot that actually goes into the success of a site when it comes to organic search ranking. What you get out of this is a search engine result page. And the search engine result page is then based on all of the different factors, taking into account all of the different websites and all of their respective pages, and they then rank them based on what Google feels is the most relevant. And if you're not in the top 10, you're basically invisible. Then shifting to how LLMs work. They work on a retrieval model. Instead of showing a list of links like you would see on Google, you actually have the LLMs synthesizing a lot of the data that they have from their training data and search engine results, and they come up with an answer to the question that you're posing. Now, all of this happens without a single click. So the interesting thing here is the success metrics just change when it comes to LLMs. LLMs don't focus on the click as the success measure. They focus on the citation. So what you want to have happen is you want your brand to be cited in those results. That might sound like a bit of a weird metric, but what you actually get out of that is it helps with your brand building. And if somebody sees your brand popping up again and again as they do searches and they find information and answers through these LLMs, and if your brand keeps popping up, it actually builds the trust. And when somebody then decides to act, there's a far stronger signal in favor of your brand versus others. When you see it on regular search results, people are spoiled for choice. They jump from one side to the other without any kind of brand loyalty. So basically, with regular search, you want to get the clicks. With LLM search, you want to get cited. There are some subtle differences in terms of how you should also format your content when you have a look at search in its current format versus LLMs. Traditional search rewards long-form content with very specific keyword focuses, a strong domain, a very strong backlink profile from relevant related sites, and then, of course, some good technical optimization. LLMs, on the other hand, favor easy to understand content with some relevant facts, some well-structured content that is easy to consume, both for human readers and then for the LLMs. And they want to make sure that it is in a format where people actually find all the answers that they're looking for. So have FAQs in there, have lists in there, and then short paragraphs that are easy to consume with clear structured headers to differentiate between the respective sections of a piece of content. The third thing that actually differentiates the two are the success measures. Traditional search, you want to see the impressions, you want to see the clicks, you want to see the interactions on your site, you want to see those conversions happening. LLM optimizations measure you are getting cited, your brand is building up its trust. There are more inclusions in generated answers, and there's an increase in source attribution frequency. When you optimize for traditional search, you start with your keyword research, and you make sure that you write content that's related to that. You then make sure that your site structure is sound. You make sure that you build up links that actually point to those pages. And that has never been a bad thing. However, if you want to make sure that you write for AI, you write for human readers, and you actually write for regular search engines, there's a way in which you can just adapt this a little bit. And that is going to be the key thing that we'll be discussing. So when you are writing for LLMs, and this then spills over to both human readers and search engines, you want to provide clear and concise information on the page. You want to make sure that everything is in a format that is easy to consume. So make sure that you clearly state what the content is going to be about. Make sure that that has the appropriate heading. Then follow that up with a couple of related questions that you would feel would help a person to better understand what you're trying to discuss. Start with the H2s, which are clearly laid out after that initial paragraph, which covers some FAQs, which covers a list of interesting bits of information about it, or some of the features of the product or service. Then have some step-by-step actions that you can take in using the service or product, or just the general information that you want to convey. Implement schema markup to provide more clarity and ensure that the facts that you add in there are very specific. Don't go for general pieces of information. The general pieces of information are difficult to understand, and then LLMs will get confused in the same way that a human gets confused. So make sure that you state very specific facts, state very specific steps. So rather than saying, these features are going to be amazing in driving results, literally just change that sentence into something along the lines of, these two features will help to improve your conversions by up to 30%. Think conversationally about how you would discuss something with a person when you talk to them. So trying to just stuff the page with loads of content will be useless. But as you have a discussion on a topic, any topic that you enjoy, make sure that you discuss the different ways in which something can work. So why try and do two different strategies when it comes to these types of optimizations? Physically, just look at the way search is changing in terms of the behavior from users. It is not that search is disappearing. SEO is not dead. Search is just evolving, and search is expanding across multiple platforms. In many places, it is AI assisted. In many places, it is fully run by AI, and you see LLMs really rising to the top there. And at the core of all of this, what you want to make sure of is that your information is focused on the human. If you focus on the human and you try and help the human, and you create the content in a format that is easy to understand, in a flow that is easy to understand, and you cover a couple of basic principles, you will make life so much easier for yourself. So here's a short little checklist of things that you can just make sure that you implement, and that'll ensure that you have the best of all worlds. So first, nail down the topic. Once you've nailed down the topic, then expand on the topic. So what you want to do is you want to write very clearly structured paragraphs. The paragraphs should be short. If you can keep it to 2 to 4 sentences, that is ideal. Then you want to make sure that they have very clear descriptive headings. Don't have a short heading like the benefits. Have something that is a little bit more explanatory, like the benefits of having a small chicken coop in your yard. Then make sure that you only keep the answers in that section to one specific topic. If you want to elaborate and you want to add extra details, add subheadings and then go into a little bit more detail, but also just cover a single topic in each of those. If you use that very basic structure in putting together your content, it is easy for a human to consume, it's easy for a search engine to consume, and it's easy for the LLMs to understand and to reference you more often, because you are then the one actually providing the answers that their readers are after and that they want to surface. And that is the basic concept. It isn't a question of focusing on one or focusing on the other. It is focusing on both. If you're focusing on both, optimizing for LLMs and SEO, you are putting yourself in the strongest possible position to future-proof your business and your website. Yes, the rules are evolving, but the one thing that holds true at the center of it is clear, concise, informative, quality content is going to be the differentiating factor that'll push you over the top. If this video helped you in any way to just understand this critical shift, make sure that you actually hit the subscribe button. And we'd love to see you in the next video and discuss a lot of these similar related topics moving forward. I think you might actually also like watching this video next.